Hello, and welcome back to week 4. That's 8, but 4. Week 4 of Gamecube month. Yay! Exciting. One more video left. What could it be? We know what it is. It's Cubable. Anyway, this week I thought I'd talk about some of my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, technically 10 favourite multiplayer games on the GameCube and whether or not they're worth getting. So I'm going to start with the 2 blindingly obvious ones first, and then we'll work on the rest, including one that I did talk about last week. What's the best multiplayer game on the GameCube? Smash Bros! That's right, it is Smash Bros. Smash Bros Melee, to be specific. Yeah, I've had this. This was my first console game. So if you don't know the story, I'll tell it again because it's mildly amusing. When we first got the GameCube, or more accurately, we were heading to Canada. Was it Cayman? Canada. Somewhere. Beginning with C. One of the two. We're heading overseas, and we were in game in the airport. Now, I was like, look, I really want a game for the Game Boy Advance. Because I was like 8. I was like 8. And I was like, really want a game for the Game Boy Advance. Maybe 9. Anyway, doesn't matter. And I was like, really want a game for the Game Boy Advance. Really want that. Would that be okay? Mum was like, yeah, fine. And I'm like, come on, I want to pay for it. We got to get to the thingy. And we're in game on this shelf of display units. So this was a display game. I think it was my brother rattled the shelf, and it all came tumbling down on my mum's head. Bless her cotton socks. She's never been the same. She's going to kill me for saying that. But anyway. This fell in her bag. And we're on the plane. My mum was next to my dad. And she's like, oh my God, what's this in my bag? Oh my God! Naturally, he teased the ever-loving shit out of her. We're like, oh yeah, they're going to arrest you when we get back. And she's like, oh, don't joke about it. But yes, we got Smash Bros. Melee. She showed us this and we were like, oh my God, we really want a GameCube. So this is what sort of led into it. Now, naturally, I played the ever-loving shit out of this. There were two of the games in this list were also launch titles we got that Christmas, and this was one of the big ones. This was the big one. Immediately, this became mine. My sister would say otherwise, but that is my copy of Smash Bros. Melee, and I have loved it ever since. It is such a fun, robust multiplayer with some excellent side content. I miss trophies. I don't think trophies are in Ultimate that I know of, which sucks a dick, because trophies are cool. They told you about new games. They did. They told you about new games, including Cubable. It told me about Cubable. It told me about Doshin the Giant. It told me about all of these games that I then went on to become massively obsessed with just based on the trophy bit. And you'd unlock coins to buy trophies with by playing the multiplayer. It was just such a robust game, and it's full of content, like everything Masahiro Sakurai gets his grubby little fingers on. It's full of stuff, and that's what makes it so good. It's the best multiplayer game on here, just period. And I'll die on that hill. That being said, it's not my favourite. My favourite we will get to my favourite, don't you worry, down the line. So, predominantly with this console, it'll be racing game. So, majority of these are racing games. Sort of. Including Mario Kart Double Dash. My favourite Mario Kart. Bonham. And here's the kicker. You can connect this sucker up to another 8 GameCubes. I think it's 8. Yes, you need about 8 copies of this and about 8 GameCubes, and each one of those had to have a broadband adapter, but you could play 16-player Mario Kart. 16-player Mario Kart. It is fucking insane. So you've got the 8 typical races throughout the map, but then you've got, on top of that, 2 people per cart. And that is just so fucking cool. It's something I'd love to do. Ignoring one thing, I don't have 16 GameCube controllers. I don't have 4 GameCubes with the broadband adapter. I don't have 4 copies of Mario Kart Double Dash. So, and I don't have 16 friends. Never mind. It might be something I see. I don't know. There's plenty of game events in the UK that I just don't go to. There's probably one that's running mass multiplayer Mario Kart Double Dash, and if it is, I'm all over that shit. I'm gonna play this if it kills me. Not my favourite racing game on here. That's F-Zero GX. We talked a lot about this game last week. I just want to mention it again because it's multiplayer. It's just so bloody good. Yet this game is fucking hard. So this is for people who either want to have fun sucking or play this if you're feeling family friendly. Apart from the blue shell. Apart from the blue shell. Fuck the blue shell. Okay, so this is one of another 2 launch titles. Oh, that's saying launch titles. Games we got that Christmas. Jeremy McGrath, Super Crossworld. This game, objectively, is awful. Awful. Bad. Looks like shit. Runs like shit. And yet, we played the shit out of this. My sister and I played the ever-loving crap out of this racing game when we were younger. Played the ever-loving shit out of it. And I've still got it. I got her a GameCube and a copy of this down the line as well. But yeah, I've got my own. It's really cool. I'm a big fan. Do I recommend it? No. No, I don't. This is a video of my favourite multiplayer games. It is not a video of games I recommend playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'll duck in with this one. So technically, I haven't played this game's multiplayer yet. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is probably one of my favourite little niche titles for the GameCube. It spawned a whole series of Final Fantasy games that I like, ? I do like them. They didn't follow a trend, and unfortunately it's a series that Square Enix let die. Because they could port games like Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8 and I think 13, maybe, to other systems, like the Switch. So there's not much point having a dedicated series to it anymore, which is so fucking shitty. You can play this on Switch. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. Strictly because they nerfed the fuck. They made it worse. They made it worse by 100,000 degrees. Now, this had a slight caveat for playing multiplayer, which is you needed one of these. You needed the GameCube to Game Boy extension cable, and I've got 2. I don't have 2 Game Boy Advances. I haven't fucking played it yet. I'd like to. It's on my list. It's a game I recommend strictly because I have played it single player. I like it single player. I'm shit at it single player. Having 4 people, however, could be a hell of a lot more fun. So, yeah. Get this. Play it. We're halfway through. Very nice. Halfway through. So, those are some doozies. What do I also recommend? Bomberman Generation. It's a Bomberman game. But there's also, like, mini-games, 4-player multiplayer. Let's be perfectly honest. I like Bomberman. Just going to put that out there. I like Bomberman. It is not the best Bomberman. The best Bomberman is Saturn Bomberman. Because 10-player Bomberman cannot be beaten. That being said, this has a full-blown 3D adventure mode. It's got classic multiplayer. It's got some additional like things that mix it up. It's a solid title for the GameCube. Now, GameCube wasn't big on running games with multiplayer more than 4 people. 4-player split screen, or 4-player shared screen, as in the case with Generation. But, let's be fair. I like this game. I like this game a lot. I think it's very solid. It's just... it's very hard to top Saturn Bomberman. That's there you go. That's another game I want to set up with 10 players. Now, I need 10 friends, which... we'll get to that. Another day. I'd need 10 friends to play it, and I would need, obviously, extension cable, 10 cable, whatever. But, yeah, really solid game. I really like Bomberman Generation. Here's one that most people wouldn't even give the time of day. Let's be perfectly honest. They wouldn't. But it's a game that I've cranked out a couple times to my friends. Cranked it out a couple times, and it's a really good time, strictly for how unique its multiplayer is. Geist. Now, Geist is I've probably talked about it on the channel before, but if you don't know what it is a first-person shooter focused around, well, let's be perfectly honest, being a ghost. You are a ghost. You follow sort of a puzzle-style sort of path through the game. There's a lot of jumping bodies. There's a lot of shooty gunplay. Pretty solid. And it's got a full-player multiplayer suite. Now, when I first played this game, I didn't realise you could have just one person versus bots. So, naturally, I'd crack on another controller. It would be split screen, and it would be just kind of unplayable. Here's the kicker. As I said, I've cranked this out a couple times, and it's surprising how fun possession deathmatch, and more importantly, people versus ghosts can be. So you've got one team that's playing as ghosts, and they have to possess the other players who are playing as sort of Spec Ops people. And those Spec Ops people have, well, they got anti-ghost weaponry. However, with the ghosts, you have to possess them to push them into traps and pits and spikes and stuff. It's chaotic. It's basically a ghost pub brawl in a very small room with a load of death traps around it. It's just amazing how much fun that game actually is. I've played the shit out of it with friends of mine, and it's something we keep coming back to. I mean, if I get this out, I'm like, do you guys want to play the possession deathmatch? And they're like, yeah, let's do the people versus ghosts one. Because it's just fun. It's just stupid. But yeah, Geist. Play Geist. Here's another one. So, I'm a big fan of Star Fox. Big fan of Star Fox. If there are video game franchises I want Nintendo to focus on, Star Fox is one of them. And Star Fox Assault is my favourite Star Fox game, period. Now, this was developed very similarly to F-Zero GX. So, F-Zero GX was created by Sega. This was created by Namco. Two Nintendo games created by two former prominent rivals of Nintendo. And they were created for an arcade board called the Triforce. Now, Triforce, you'll see it everywhere. If you go into an arcade in basically any bowling alley, you will see Mario Kart DX. That entire arcade machine runs off of the Triforce, which is a Gamecube. It's as simple as that. And if you have a Game Shark, you can actually find F-Zero AX, which is the arcade version of GX, in there. It's on the disc. It's on there. The arcade game is on there. I haven't got a Game Shark, so I haven't tested it, but it's there. It's in there. I know it is. I've seen it, which is sick. There was rumoured a Star Fox arcade machine. Didn't end up happening, which is a bit of a shame, because I really like Star Fox Assault. It's such a robust, just such a fun game. So much in it. You can even unlock Xevious, because it's made by Namco. But yeah, they basically took the multiplayer mode from the N64. They went, right, you can run around on foot, you can run around or you can do it in planes, or you can do it in the tank. What if we gave you the ability to move between all three in multiplayer, which is amazing. The only thing that sort of lets this down in comparison to something like Geist is there's no bots, so you need about 4 people. You got about 4 different playable, or 5, 4 or 5, might be even 6. Good number of playable characters in the multiplayer. Each have sort of different stats on what they can do. And you're basically running around shooting each other and blowing each other up. I think there's a good number of different multiplayer modes. Let me just have a quick look. Unless it is literally just... yes, I believe it is just a deathmatch mode. So it seems to just be a deathmatch mode, but the fact that you can run around at ridiculous speeds as Fox's little tail spins like this, like fucking tails, but also jumping an air wing, jumping a landmaster. You do have a disadvantage when you're in the landmaster or on foot in comparison to the R-wing, because the R-wing is just so much more maneuverable. But it's so much fun. I really enjoy playing that multiplayer. It's not one I've played enough of, which sucks because Assault is my favourite Star Fox game. It's one I wish they'd bring back. I wish they'd bring back a new Star Fox game in that style. Would be really cool. But yeah, there you go. Some unusual ones you didn't think about. Final two. Now, these are ports, but they're the best way to play multiplayer, local, of these two games. And the best Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Yes, this was my first Sonic game. So it was a lot of people's first Sonic game, and it is the best one. It's the best one, because you got Chow. However, the multiplayer mode that was added to this from the Dreamcast, so Dreamcast version, I don't think it had a multiplayer mode at all. This adds... oh no, it says improved multiplayer modes, so maybe there was. I don't know. I don't think there was. But you've got treasure hunting stages, so it's 2-player only, which sucks. It would be nice if it was 4, but it's 2-player only. You've got racing modes. You've got grind race or regular race. Basically, you just race through a variety of missions, predominantly levels, and get to the end. Nice and easy. But then you've also got kart racing. Bad kart racing. It's very bad. It doesn't play well at all. But you've also got Chow fights. You've got Chow karate. You've got shooting battles, so you'll have like Eggman and Tails and their big mechs shooting at each other. You've also got treasure hunting, which, let's be perfectly honest, I always play as Chaos. I always play as Chaos, and we typically play Pumpkin Hill when I play this game, because Pumpkin Hill is the best map for treasure hunting, period. It's absolutely enormous. It plays really well. It's just a lot of fun. And admittedly, you don't have the advantage of some of the other levels where some of them are underwater, because Chaos can breathe underwater indefinitely, which is cheating. Multiple different playable characters, Amy and Metal Sonic for along with Sonic and Shadow for the racing. Tikal, Rouge, Knuckles, Chaos for the other one, for the treasure hunt. And for the shooting, you've got Eggman, Dark Chow Walker, and Tails, that's not my favourite mode. The ones we typically do are race, because race is a lot of fun, and treasure hunting. Why not? Final game of GameCube multiplayer games. I do genuinely recommend all of these, by the way. I do recommend Sonic Adventure Battle 2 Battle. I think it's really solid. I recommend all of these, except maybe Macross World, because it sucks. It's not a good game. It's not a good racing game. What it is fun to do is there are these massive fuck-off maps where you can just set the two of you and you just sort of drive around. That's a lot of fun. I think that's sort of the vibe they're going for with the new Mario Kart World. Just drive. You can drive from one end of the map to the other with your friends, which, I'm going to be honest with you, I really want that. But yeah. What's the last game? Sonic Gems Collection. Yes. So this has a bunch of Game Gear games, which is cool. It's got Sonic CD, but it's got 2 multiplayer games that I actually really like. So, inevitably, I bust this out and go, we're going to play Sonic R. I would play it on Saturn, but it just does not run as well as the GameCube port. The GameCube port runs so much better. It runs so much better because they're all based off of the arcade versions or the PC versions in the case of Sonic R. Because, let's be fair, emulating the Saturn is a fucking pain in the ass! But then you've got Sonic the Fighters. This is kind of the only way before the 360 and Steam that you could play Sonic Fighters at home. And Sonic Fighters is a beat-em-up. It's not a beat-em-up, sorry. It's a fighting game. But it plays more like Tekken than, say, something like Smash Bros. Like you'd think it would play like. And you know what? I really like it. It's really... I really like it. I play as Bean the Dynamite, who is a duck who throws bombs, and he is busted. He is busted, and I love him. But yeah. Okay, yes, I think that is about 10 fat stack games for multiplayer for the GameCube. I just recommend above everything else. There are others. You've got things like Pikmin 2 had a multiplayer mode. You've got Four Swords Adventures. That's a really good GameCube sort of co-op multiplayer Zelda game. That's pretty cool. There's Beautiful Joe Red Hot Rumble, which is a little bit like a fighting game. Pac-Man Versus is one I really want to put some time into because it's so unique. Such a fascinating idea. And I've got one GameCube link cable, so I could actually play it. Because the other 4 people were using controllers to control the ghosts on the screen, which is just genuinely very cool. There you go. There's an honourable mention for you. I think I have it in the various piles of GameCube. Yeah, there it is. Various piles of GameCube games around me. Play Pac-Man Versus. It's weird, but cool. It's very cool. It's such a strange game. But yes, multiplayer for the GameCube. Probably the most robust multiplayer console I own, apart from the original Xbox, and that's just strictly because I've got way more games for that thing than I do for the GameCube. Something I'm working to rectify. Anyways, guys, that's it for another week. Next week is the last week of GameCube month, which is very sad. But we're going to be talking about Cubivore. Which is a game I have been playing a lot recently, and it is fucking weird. But it's awesome. So, anyways, guys, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.